Peace be upon you, seekers of truth, gathered in the shadow of wisdom. Today I shall lead you along paths that no physical body can traverse alone, paths accessible only to the Great Spirit. Gaze into the twilight. Do you see how the shadows lengthen, reminding us of life's brevity? Do you hear how the wind whispers the stories of those who came before us? We shall journey together with a man whose heart was like a restless ocean seeking its shore. This is the story of Salman al-Farisi, may Allah be pleased with him, a man who traded silk for coarse wool and a crown for slave shackles, all for but a glimpse of the light of truth. Imagine Persia in that era, majestic, drowning in luxury and pride. This was the land of fire worshippers, where greatness was measured by proximity to the throne and the purity of flames in temples. In the village of Jay, near Isfahan, lived a youth named Rusbeh, for that was Salman's name before he found his true identity. His father was a Deccan, a wealthy landowner and ruler of those lands. He so cherished his son that he kept him within the house, guarding him like a rare pearl. Rusbeh grew in the silence of enclosed gardens, amid the murmur of fountains and the scent of roses, yet his soul knew no peace. Consider this. Can gold warm the heart if it lacks the light of faith? Rusbeh was appointed keeper of the sacred fire. His duty was to ensure the flame in the temple never extinguished, not for an instant. He would gaze into that fire for hours, beautiful, dancing flames, but they were silent. They consumed wood, but offered no answers. They warmed the skin, but left the soul in cold. Salman sensed that truth could not be confined to a hearth crafted by human hands. Could the creator of worlds possibly require humans to feed him kindling? One day his father, occupied with construction, asked Rusbeh to visit a distant estate of theirs. This short journey became the beginning of a lifelong odyssey. Passing by a Christian church, Rusbeh heard the sounds of prayer. He had never heard anything like it. He entered and saw people addressing the unseen God with such humility and passion that his own fire worship seemed like lifeless theater. "By Allah, this is better than our religion," he exclaimed then. The sun was declining towards sunset, shadows falling upon the dusty roads, and the youth stood there, struck by the simplicity and depth of what he had witnessed. He returned home late. His father, whose heart was filled with anxiety, asked, "Where have you been, my son?" And Salman, whose honesty was even then like a pure blade, spoke the truth. He told him about the Christians, about their prayer, about their God. Oh, what anger blazed in the Deccan's eyes. To him this was betrayal of his ancestors, betrayal of blood. He tried to convince his son that the faith of their fathers was the most magnificent. But Salman replied, "No, their faith is better." Then the father did what people often do when reason fails them. He resorted to force. He placed heavy shackles on his son's feet and locked him in the dark cellar of the house. That night Salman did not sleep. What did he think about? The pain in his feet? No, he thought that truth was worth suffering for. He secretly sent word to the Christians, "If a caravan from Sham comes to you, let me know." When the caravan arrived, he cast off his chains, as a snake sheds its old skin. He fled his home, leaving behind wealth, status, and his father's love, all for the unknown. Salman became the embodiment of one who abandons all earthly things for the promise of the Almighty, believing that he who created the heavens would not leave a wayfarer without refuge. The journey to Sham was long. Desert sands gave way to rocky plateaus. Salman followed the caravan, inhaling the dust of the roads yet feeling a strange lightness. Arriving in Damascus, he asked, "Who here is most knowledgeable in this religion?" They directed him to a bishop in a church. Salman came to him and said, "I wish to be with you, to serve you, and to learn from you." But here Salman faced his first great disappointment. Oh, how often we are captivated by the wrapper, blind to the rot within. This bishop proved to be a greedy man. He urged people to give alms, promising them paradisiacal gardens. Yet all the gold and silver brought by the faithful he hoarded in his chests. 7 huge jars filled with gold he amassed, while the poor starved at his doorstep. Salman witnessed this. He saw a man calling himself a servant of God, serving the golden calf. Imagine the youth's disillusionment. Had he abandoned everything for this? Had he endured shackles for a liar? During those long nights in Syria, Salman might have broken. He might have said, "If this is religion, then I return to my fire." But Salman's wisdom ran deeper. He understood. Truth does not become falsehood because its bearer proves wicked. Gold remains gold, even if it lies in mud. When the bishop died, Salman revealed to the people the truth about his hidden treasures. The angry mob wanted to leave his body unburied, but Salman simply observed as idols crumbled. In place of the greedy bishop came another man, and this man became Salman's first true teacher. He was an ascetic. He prayed at night and wept over his sins. Salman loved him with all his heart. He lived under his care, absorbing knowledge like parched earth absorbs raindrops. But time is merciless. Death came for this righteous man as well. Salman stood by his bedside, clutching his teacher's hand, tears streaming down his face. "To whom will you leave me?" he asked. "My son," the elder replied. "I know no one who stands upon the truth as we do, except for a man in Mosul." Thus began Salman's great journey from teacher to teacher, from Damascus to Mosul, from Mosul to Nusaybin, from Nusaybin to Amoria. Each time he would find a righteous man, serve him, and each time death would claim his mentor. Every farewell was like a small death. Salman aged, his skin roughened from the winds, his hands became calloused, yet the fire within him burned brighter than the one he once tended in Persia. In Amoria, with his last Christian teacher, Salman labored so diligently that he managed to acquire several cows and sheep. But then came the hour of this mentor's passing as well. Salman, now a mature man with gray in his beard, bent over him. "Teacher, my path is long, and my strength is not eternal. To whom should I go now?" And here arrives the moment that makes the soul tremble. The elder opened his eyes and whispered, "My son, I swear by God, I know no one else on earth who adheres to our faith in its purity. But the time of a prophet has come. He will emerge from the lands of the Arabs. He will migrate to a land lying between 2 black rocky fields, where date palms grow. He will have clear signs. He does not eat charity but accepts gifts, and between his shoulder blades is the seal of prophethood. If you can journey to those lands, go." Imagine Salman's state. He had sought this for decades. Now he had coordinates, not merely truth, but a specific person in a specific place. But where was this land of the Arabs? How could a man from Amoria get there? Salman found a caravan of Arab merchants from the tribe of Banu Kalb. He approached them and said, "Take me with you to the land of the Arabs, and I will give you all my cows and sheep." The merchants agreed. Salman gave away everything he owned for a chance to meet the one he dreamed of. He thought the goal was near. He thought the hardest part was behind him. But fate is a trial that grinds even the hardest kernel into pure anguish. When the caravan reached Wadi al-Qura, a valley in northern Arabia, the merchants betrayed him. They seized him, bound him, and sold him into slavery to a Jewish man. That night, lying on the hard ground, bound hand and foot, Salman gazed at the stars. "Oh, my Lord," he whispered, "I was a prince's son, and I have become a slave. I sought your prophet and find myself in chains. Is this the end of the road?" Yet in his heart there was no complaint, only quiet sorrow and great patience. He understood. If truth required him to pass through slavery, then slavery was the door. Soon this Jew was visited by his cousin from the Banu Qurayza tribe, who lived in Yathrib. He purchased Salman and took him there. When Salman saw Yathrib, his heart pounded so fiercely it nearly leaped from his chest. He saw the black, rocky fields. He saw endless groves of date palms. "This is it," everything within him cried out. "This is that very land." Yet the trial continued. He was a slave. He could not simply go and search for the prophet. He was chained to his master's palm trees. He labored under the scorching sun, watering the trees, gathering fruit, while momentous events unfolded in the world. While Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, called to Islam in Mecca, while he was persecuted, while he made his hijrah, Salman remained unaware. He was merely a Persian slave whom no one noticed. What is it like to be mere miles from your dream and unable to take a single step toward it? Years passed. Salman became a shadow among the palms. But one day, as he sat atop a tree working for his master, while his master sat below, the master's nephew came running. He was beside himself with anger. "May Allah destroy these tribes. By God, they have gathered now in Kuba around a man who came today from Mecca claiming to be a prophet." Salman would later recount, "When I heard this, I trembled so violently, I nearly fell from the palm tree onto my master's head. He descended instantly, his eyes blazing. 'What did you say?' he cried. 'Say it again!' His master, angered by such insolence from a slave, struck him across the face. 'What business is this of yours? Get back to your work.' Salman returned to his tree, but his hands would not obey him. That evening became the longest of his life. He had some dates he had gathered. As soon as dusk settled over Medina, he secretly slipped out of the house and made his way toward Kuba. There, surrounded by people, he saw him. The man whose face shone with otherworldly serenity, the man he had sought across countries, across religions, across decades. Salman approached, his heart pounding like a trapped bird. He placed the dates before Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, "I have heard that you are a righteous man, and that you have companions with you in need. This is charity, sadaqah, that I wished to distribute." Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, looked at the dates, then turned to his companions and said, "Eat." He himself did not touch a single fruit. Salman froze. Flashed through his mind, the first sign matches. He does not eat what is given as charity. But this was only the beginning. Ahead lay two more signs, the struggle for freedom and the great battle where a Persian's wisdom would save the prophet's city. But of that, my dear listeners, we shall learn in the next part of our narrative. For now, remember, the path to light is never smooth, but every thorn along that path is a step toward greatness of spirit. We continue our journey following the footsteps of Salman. May Allah be pleased with him. Pause for a moment and imagine that Medinan night, cool air saturated with the scent of moist earth and date groves, and the solitary figure of a slave walking toward his destiny. Salman had just witnessed the first sign. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, refused the charity but fed his companions. That night Salman could not sleep. His soul sang, though his body ached from labor under the scorching sun. He knew, truth is not given freely. One must pay for it with patience and attentiveness. Several days later, Salman again found an opportunity to come to the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him. This time he brought some food he had managed to gather or barter. He approached Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, "I saw that you do not eat charity, so I have brought this to you as a gift, hadiyah, to express my respect." And then Salman witnessed the second miracle, a miracle not in the heavens, but in a simple gesture of nobility. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled, took the food, and shared it with his companions, and this time he ate with them. Salman's heart fluttered. The second sign, he felt like a man who had wandered all his life in thick fog and suddenly saw the first rays of dawn piercing the gloom. But one sign remained, the most intimate, the seal of prophethood between the shoulder blades, of which his dying teacher in Amoria had spoken. How could he see it without being discourteous? How could he look behind the garment of a man who radiated such majesty that even mighty warriors felt humble before him? The opportunity came at the al-Baqi cemetery, where Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, came to accompany a companion on his final journey. Salman walked behind, trying to position himself at the messenger's back. He would quicken his pace, then slow it, attempting to glimpse the upper back through the cloak. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, endowed with divine perceptiveness, understood what this stranger sought. He did not reproach him, did not ask his intentions. Oh, behold the mercy of this man. He simply allowed his cloak to slip from his shoulders, revealing his back. And Salman saw it, the seal of prophethood. It was exactly as the ancient books had described. In that moment, the dam holding back Salman's feelings for decades burst. He fell upon that seal, kissing it and weeping uncontrollably. In those tears was all his pain, years of slavery, the bitterness of the merchant's betrayal, loneliness in foreign lands, and long nights searching for God. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, gently called him, "Come and tell me your story." Salman sat before him and his companions and told everything, from the fires of Persia to the palms of Medina. And all who listened wept, astonished at the price this man had paid for the right to call himself a slave of truth. But my brothers, note the profound wisdom of this moment. Salman had found truth, but he had not yet found freedom. He remained the slave of a Jew from Banu Qurayza. Due to his status, he could not participate in the great battles of Badr and Uhud. Imagine the sorrow gnawing at his heart. His brothers in faith fought for the cause of Allah, while he was forced to dig pits and tend someone else's trees. But Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, did not forget him. One day he came to Salman and said, "Redeem yourself, O Salman. Make a contract of manumission, mukataba." Salman's master, seeing his slave's zeal, set a price that seemed impossible. He demanded that Salman plant 300 palm trees and care for them until they took root and bore fruit, and also pay 40 ounces of gold. 300 palms, that was years of labor. But Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said to his companions, "Help your brother." And so began the miracle of brotherhood. One brought 10 saplings, another 20, another 50. When 300 saplings were gathered, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Dig the holes, Salman, but plant nothing until I come and do it with my own hand." Salman dug with a hope that words cannot describe. Each hole was a step toward freedom. Then came the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him. He took each sapling and with his blessed hands placed it in the earth. And I swear by him in whose hand is Salman's soul, not one of those trees perished. They greened and took root within a single season, contrary to all laws of nature, yet in accordance with the Creator's will. The gold remained. Soon, a piece of gold the size of a hen's egg was brought to the Muslim treasury. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, gave it to Salman. "Is this enough, O Messenger of Allah?" Salman asked. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, took the gold, touched it with his tongue, and it weighed enough for Salman to pay his entire debt and still have some left. Thus Salman became free. He became not merely a Muslim, but Salman al-Muhammadi, Salman of the Prophet's household. When the Ansar and Muhajirun disputed over who he belonged to, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, settled it. Salman is one of us. He is of Ahl al-Bayt, the people of the Prophet's household. What an honor for a Persian who but yesterday was a slave, yet ahead lay the most severe trial. The 5th year after the Hijrah, black clouds gathered over Medina. The pagans of Mecca, the Jewish tribes, and the desert Bedouins united to erase Islam from the face of the earth. 10,000 warriors, an unprecedented force for that time, marched toward the city. In Medina were only 3,000 defenders. Fear gripped many hearts. The city's walls were weak, and the enemy was numerous and filled with rage. The Muslims gathered for consultation, shura. Various proposals were made, but none guaranteed salvation. Then Salman stepped forward. He gazed at the horizon where the enemy's campfires would soon appear, and memories of great Eastern battles surfaced in his mind. In Persia, when a city could not withstand cavalry, they would employ a stratagem unknown to the Arabs. Salman said, "O Messenger of Allah, in our land, when we feared enemy cavalry, we would surround ourselves with a trench." These words fell into the silence of the council like a precious stone into a deep well. A trench. The Arabs had never seen such a thing. It was simple, yet ingenious. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, approved this plan, and the great work began. The entire city turned out for construction. Time was short. The cold desert wind pierced to the bone. Food was scarce. People tied stones to their bellies to dull the pangs of hunger. Salman worked harder than anyone. He was the engineer of this project and its most diligent laborer. One day, as they were digging near Mount Salah, their picks struck a massive white boulder. The strongest warriors tried to break it, but steel only struck sparks, while the stone remained unharmed. Despair set in. If they could not get through here, the trench would be breached, and the enemy would find a gap. They summoned Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He descended into the trench, took a pickaxe, and struck. A blinding flash erupted from beneath the blow, illuminating everything around. "Allahu Akbar!" exclaimed the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. "The keys of Sham have been shown to me, and I saw its red palaces." He struck a second time, and again a flash. "Allahu Akbar! The keys of Persia have been shown to me, and I saw the white palaces of Ctesiphon." A third strike, and the boulder crumbled to sand. "Allahu Akbar! The keys of Yemen have been shown to me." Salman stood nearby. He heard these words. He, who knew the grandeur of Persia, understood what the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, spoke of. While the Muslims shivered from cold and hunger, awaiting the siege of a 10,000-strong army, their leader promised them the fall of the world's greatest empires. Some hypocrites mocked, "He cannot protect us from the Quraysh, yet he promises the palaces of Khosrow." But Salman knew, this man did not speak of himself. The trench was finished in time. When the Allied army approached Medina, they halted in astonishment. "By God, this is a stratagem the Arabs have never used," they cried. The enemy cavalry pranced at the trench's edge, unable to cross this barrier. The long siege began. A month of agonizing waiting, cold, and treachery from within. The hearts of the Muslims were tested to their limits. The Quran describes this state. Their eyes swerved and their hearts reached their throats. Salman was at the front lines. He witnessed how fear breaks the weak and how faith fortifies the strong. He was the bridge connecting the ancient wisdom of the East with the youthful energy of Islam. He understood that this battle was not merely a clash of swords, but a battle of the spirit. But how exactly would this conflict resolve? How would wind and faith defeat 10,000 warriors? And what role would the wisdom of a man who had traversed half the world for this moment play? Do you feel that cold wind, O listeners? Do you hear the arrows whistling over the trench? The tension reached its peak. But the fate of Medina and of Islam itself hung by a thread. In the next part, we shall witness the finale of this epic confrontation and see how Salman al-Farisi would become governor of those very lands from which he once fled as a slave, and how he would meet his final hour, remaining faithful to his primary quest, the quest to meet his Creator. We have reached the sunset of this great narrative, those hours when the shadows of the past merge with the radiance of eternity. Remember that icy wind that whistled over the trench of Medina, when 10,000 hearts filled with hatred stood against 3,000 hearts filled with faith. Salman al-Farisi, may Allah be pleased with him, stood at the edge of that very trench he had proposed digging. His hands were calloused, his garments saturated with dust and sweat, but in his eyes reflected the serenity of a man who had found his harbor. On that decisive night, when the Allied forces were exhausted by cold and internal discord, the Almighty sent His army, unseen yet devastating. A wind like a hurricane struck the enemy camp, overturning their cooking pots, tearing out their tent pegs, and sowing primal terror in their souls. The pagans fled, seized by panic, leaving behind their ambitions and pride. When dawn broke over Medina, the trench was clear. Truth had prevailed. And in this triumph, Salman's wisdom, may Allah be pleased with him, became the sword that shed no blood, yet shattered the schemes of enemies. Years passed. The sun of Islam rose high over the Arabian horizon, and the day came when Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, departed this world, leaving his companions in profound grief. Salman mourned his teacher, his liberator, and his beloved friend. But he remembered those flashes in the trench, those visions of the white palaces of Ctesiphon. And so, during the caliphate of Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, Salman again found himself on the road to his homeland, to Persia. But now he went not as a fugitive slave, nor as a youth seeking truth. He went as one of the army's commanders, carrying the light of faith to those still wandering in darkness. Imagine this moment. Salman, old and wise, stands before the walls of majestic Ctesiphon, the city where proud Shahanshahs once ruled, where gold flowed like rivers and silks carpeted the earth. The Muslims had besieged this symbol of Persian might, but Salman desired no destruction. He stood before the city gates and addressed his countrymen in their native tongue. His voice, aged yet firm, carried over the ranks of warriors. I am one of you. I was a Persian, like you, but Allah guided me. I offer you three paths: accept Islam, and you become our brothers; or pay the jizya, and we will protect you; or let the sword decide between us. But I swear I have come to you with people who love death more than you love life and your wine. The city fell. The white palaces that Salman had seen in the sparks from Prophet Muhammad's pickaxe, peace and blessings be upon him, now belonged to the Muslims. Salman entered those halls where once he might have sat as a prince, but he entered in a simple cloak, staff in hand. Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, appointed him governor of this land, emir of great al-Madain. O my listeners, here lies a lesson that should be inscribed in gold upon the walls of our homes. What kind of governor did this former slave become? He who had access to Persia's treasures refused to live in a palace. He built himself a small hut of reeds on the city's outskirts. His salary amounted to several thousand dirhams, yet he took not a single coin for himself. He would say, I do not wish to eat what my own hands have not earned. The emir of al-Madain, ruler of hundreds of thousands, wove baskets from palm leaves every day. He sold them at the market for 3 dirhams. With 1 dirham, he bought food for his family. With the second, he gave to the poor. And with the third, he purchased material for new baskets. One day, a traveler from Sham, who did not know Salman by sight, saw an old man in simple clothing carrying a heavy bundle of hay. The traveler, accustomed to the arrogance of officials, called out to him, Hey, old man, help me carry my load, and I will pay you. Salman, without a word, hoisted the heavy burden onto his shoulders and followed the stranger. People they met on the way would stop in awe and greet him. Peace be upon you, O Emir. Allow us to carry that. The traveler paled, realizing he had turned the ruler of the land into his porter. He began begging forgiveness and wanted to take back the bundle, but Salman only smiled and said, No, I will carry it to your home. I promise to help, and I wish to receive my reward from the one who is above all emirs. In this simplicity lay his strength. He had conquered his ego, nafs, long before his army conquered enemies. The hour arrived when Salman felt his long sojourn on this earth drawing to a close. He lay in his humble hut, and tears rolled down his hollow cheeks. His wife, seeing this, asked, "O Abu Abdullah, why do you weep? Were you not a companion of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him? Did he not die pleased with you?" Salman replied in a faint, trembling voice, "I weep not from fear of death, nor from desire to remain in this world. I weep because the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, took a pledge from us that each of us would leave this world with only as much property as a rider needs for a long journey. And look at all this wealth around me." His wife surveyed the room. There was only a washing basin, an old mat, and a staff. All his wealth was worth no more than 15 dirhams. Yet Salman's heart, may Allah be pleased with him, trembled before the Almighty over every trifle. What a lesson for us, drowning in things we do not need and luxury that does not warm us. Then he called his wife and asked her to bring him a bundle he had kept for many years. It was musk he had received back in Amoria or during his travels. "Moisten it with water and sprinkle it around my bed," he whispered. "For now there will come to me those who do not eat food, but love good fragrances." These were the angels of mercy. He asked his wife to leave and close the door. After a moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the rustle of wind outside the window. When his wife entered, Salman al-Farisi, may Allah be pleased with him, had already gone to his Lord. His face was serene, and the room was filled with the fragrance of paradise. Thus ended the longest journey to truth, from prince to slave, from slave to ruler, and from ruler to among the closest servants of Allah. Salman left us a legacy not of buildings or books, but of his very life. He taught us that origin matters not, for the most noble of you before Allah is the most God-fearing. He taught us that truth is worth seeking across oceans and deserts. He showed that faith is not merely words, but action, patience, and endless hope. O modern man, you who often feel lost in digital labyrinths and the bustle of megacities, look at Salman. His life tells you, fear not to leave what is false for what is eternal. Fear not to begin anew, even if it seems years have been wasted. For one moment of meeting with truth redeems decades of slavery and wandering. O Allah, Lord of the worlds and Creator of the heavens, we ask you to guide us along the path trodden by your righteous servant Salman. Grant us the same unwavering desire for your pleasure that he possessed. Purify our hearts from thirst for power and wealth, and fill them with the light of love for you and for your Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Help us to be useful to your creation and humble before your majesty. May this story be for us not merely a tale of the past, but a torch illuminating our future. May each of us find the strength to break the shackles of our passions and embark on our own journey to truth. Bless us, O merciful one, and gather us in the shade of your throne on the day when there will be no shade but yours. Grant us a meeting with the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, and with his faithful companion Salman in the gardens of Firdaus. Peace and blessings be upon our Prophet, his family, and all his companions until the day of judgment. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds.